In every era, German shipbuilders have excelled at crafting vessels that reflect the strategic needs of the moment. Whether building fast missile boats to challenge NATO in the Baltic, or pioneering stealthy submarines to patrol the world's oceans, Germany consistently leveraged technological innovation. We literally dive into post-World War II vessels that dominate open waters. Germany's post-war navy may not have sought to dominate the seas like its predecessors, but it still made a significant mark through ingenuity and precision engineering. In today's video, we'll dive into how the Germans built some of the deadliest post-World War II vessels on open waters. When World War II ended in 1945, Germany's maritime legacy lay in ruins. The Kriegsmarine, once a symbol of Nazi ambition, was dismantled by the Allies. Surviving vessels were seized as war reparations for research, while iconic ships like the battleship Tirpitz had already been sunk. Other ships, including U-boats, were scuttled or destroyed under the terms of surrender. The Allies' initial dismantling of Germany's naval capability was thorough. Ships were scrapped or appropriated, and the Allied Control Council enforced strict restrictions on German shipbuilding. Surviving shipyards were repurposed for civilian use, with their capabilities monitored to prevent any resurgence of militaristic ambitions. For a time, it seemed Germany's naval story had come to an end. The aftermath left Germany not only disarmed, but also divided. The geopolitical split into West Germany, FRG, and East Germany, GDR, under the looming shadow of the Cold War redefined every aspect of its military ambitions, including its naval power. For a time, the once vital German shipyards pivoted to civilian production, producing cargo ships and fishing vessels instead of warships. However, as the Cold War intensified, the fractured nation found itself drawn back into the maritime arena, not as a unilateral power, but as a participant in the ideological tug-of-war between NATO and the Warsaw Pact. During these tense years of the Cold War, the Bundesmarine, West Germany's navy, and the Volksmarine, East Germany's navy, stood on opposite sides of a geopolitical divide, each tasked with distinct missions reflecting their respective alliances. The West German Bundesmarine became vital to NATO's strategy for controlling the North Atlantic and Baltic Sea. Ships like the Köln-class frigates excelled during large-scale NATO naval exercises, such as Operation Mainbrace. Operation Mainbrace, conducted in 1952, was one of the most significant NATO naval exercises during the early years of the Cold War. It was designed to test the alliance's readiness to defend Western Europe against potential Soviet aggression. The oppression was a large-scale demonstration of NATO's ability to operate as a unified force, with naval, air, and land forces coordinating their activities in a comprehensive defense of the Northern Atlantic and Western Europe. The Bundesmarine, West Germany's navy, played a crucial role in the exercise, particularly with its Köln-class frigates, which were integral to the anti-submarine warfare, ASW operations, that formed a central aspect of the exercise. These frigates, equipped for anti-submarine warfare, showcased their versatility, detecting and tracking Soviet submarines in Baltic waters. In the 1950s, both East and West Germany began rebuilding their naval forces, a process shaped by the geopolitical tensions of the Cold War. West Germany, under NATO's watchful eye, formed the Bundesmarine in 1956, with an emphasis on non-threatening defensive naval capabilities. A key component of this new fleet was the Köln-class frigates, introduced in the late 1950s. Designed with a focus on anti-submarine warfare, ASW, these frigates were equipped with advanced sonar systems, depth charge launchers, and torpedoes, allowing them to detect and neutralize Soviet submarines in the Baltic and North Atlantic waters. With a single 100mm gun providing surface firepower, the Köln-class ships were not meant for large-scale naval combat, but rather for strategic operations focused on defense and deterrence. Though the Köln-class frigates were compact and practical, their role in NATO's naval strategy was critical. These ships participated in major NATO exercises, such as Operation Mainbrace, where they demonstrated their ASW capabilities. During these exercises, the Köln-class vessels showcased their ability to detect and track Soviet submarines in the hostile and confined waters of the Baltic Sea. Their successful integration into NATO operations underscored West Germany's growing naval importance within the alliance, serving as a key player in maintaining control over the Northern Atlantic and Baltic Sea, both vital to Western defense posture against the Soviet Union. Across the Iron Curtain, the East German Volksmarine was established with significant Soviet support. East Germany's naval strategy, in alignment with Soviet doctrine, was focused on coastal defense and operations in the Baltic Sea. The Volksmarine fleet featured a mix of torpedo boats, sub-chasers, and later on missile boats such as the Soviet-designed Tarantul-class. The Tarantuls were smaller, faster, and more lethal than their counterparts in the Bundesmarine. With a top speed of over 40 knots, these missile boats were ideal for hit-and-run tactics in the Baltic's confined waters, where they could avoid detection and quickly strike larger, slower vessels. Armed with the P-15 Termit missiles, NATO reporting name SSN-2 Styx, the Tarantul-class boats could deliver devastating strikes against much larger ships. The P-15 Termit was a potent anti-airship missile, capable of sinking enemy vessels with a single hit. The combination of speed, missile armament, and stealth made the Tarantul-class a formidable weapon in the East German fleet. These boats embodied Soviet naval doctrine, which prioritized smaller, fast vessels capable of exploiting the element of surprise and overwhelming larger, more cumbersome ships with swarming tactics. The Tarantuls were perfect for the narrow, shallow waters of the Baltic Sea, where large ships could be more easily detected and neutralized. The contrast between the Köln-class frigates and the Tarantul-class missile boats highlights the different naval strategies employed by East and West Germany during the Cold War. With the Bundesmarine focused on a more traditional defensive role within NATO's framework, the Volksmarine emphasized speed, surprise, and missile power. Both ships played crucial roles in their respective navies, representing the broader strategic aims of their nations during one of the most tense periods in modern history. Whether patrolling the Baltic or engaging in naval exercises, the Köln and Tarantul classes exemplified the naval priorities of their time, influencing Cold War naval strategies in the North Atlantic and Baltic regions. With their compact size and low draft, the Tarantuls were ideal for coastal defense, enabling the Volksmarine to maintain a deterrent against NATO naval forces. These boats weren't just deterrents, but active participants in the Warsaw Pact naval drills, testing their speed and firepower, proving their ability to launch devastating missile strikes against hypothetical Western invaders. While its scale was modest compared to the Western fleets, the Volksmarine played a key role in the Warsaw Pact strategy to counter NATO's naval forces in the Baltic. As the Cold War intensified through the 1970s and 1980s, both East and West Germany's navies expanded and modernized. In West Germany, the Bundesmarine evolved from purely defensive origins into a more balanced maritime force. Ships like the Köln-class frigates and the Lutyens-class destroyers joined the fleet. The Lutyens-class destroyers marked a bold step for West Germany, heavily inspired by America's designs, specifically the Charles F. Adams class. These destroyers combined NATO interoperability with modern firepower, equipped with standard missile systems for air defense and ASROC launchers for anti-submarine operations. The Lutyens-class vessels were the backbone of West Germany's surface fleet. Their radar and sonar suites made them formidable for both defensive and offensive roles. Meanwhile, the Volksmarine benefited from Soviet advancements, acquiring missile boats and submarines that reinforced its role as a steadfast ally in the Warsaw Pact. Yet, its mission remained narrowly focused on protecting East Germany's shores and supporting Soviet interests in the Baltic. This uneasy balance of naval power persisted until the dramatic events of 1990, when Germany's reunification changed everything. The fall of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of Germany shifted the Navy's focus from national defense to international cooperation. The newly unified Deutsche Marine became a key contributor to global missions. But that moment of transition was just the beginning of a new chapter for German naval power. These frigates symbolized the Bundesmarine transition from coastal patrols to a fleet capable of operating in North Atlantic missions under NATO's banner. Though modest by global standards, the Köln-class played a critical role in reassuring Germany's allies and protecting the Baltic approaches during the Cold War. Everything was quiet for a while, and no one really knew what the Germans were up to. Some might have thought they were out of ideas, or had hit a brick wall in maritime technology. However, history has shown that when German war scientists were quiet, they cooked up something sinister, and that's when the deadly Type 212 submarines cruised silently under the waters of the Atlantic, transforming the German Navy into the most formidable force on open water. Arguably one of the most advanced submarine designs in the world, the Type 212 submarines introduced in the post-reunification era are a marvel of modern engineering. These boats were pioneers of air-independent propulsion, AIP, allowing them to remain submerged for weeks, a critical advantage in stealth operations. Powered by hydrogen fuel cells, they operate almost silently, making them ideal for tracking adversaries or conducting covert reconnaissance. Armed with heavyweight torpedoes and cruise missiles, the Type 212s are optimized for both offensive strikes and defensive patrols. Their sophisticated sonar systems can detect enemy vessels long before being spotted themselves, giving them an edge even over larger nuclear-powered submarines from rival navies. Being the most lethal force underwater wasn't enough for the Eastern European powerhouse. They also unleashed the Sachsen-class frigates into the already bone-chilling fleet. Introduced in the early 2000s, the Sachsen-class frigates are Germany's answer to multi-role surface combatants. These sleek vessels are equipped with cutting-edge technology, from Smart L radar systems for long-range tracking to ESSM, evolved Sea Sparrow missiles for air defense. Capable of detecting and neutralizing threats from air, sea, and under the surface, these frigates exemplify Germany's shift toward international peacekeeping and expeditionary roles. Comparable to the American Brandenburg-class destroyers, the Sachsen-class emphasizes precision and versatility. They're capable of engaging pirates off Somalia or conducting high-tech missile defense in European waters. German naval vessels, though designed with precision and cutting-edge technology, earned their place in history through their roles in significant operations and missions. Each era saw these ships contribute uniquely, whether guarding national waters or participating in international coalitions. The 1990s saw German frigates like the Brandenburg-class deployed in peacekeeping missions during the Yugoslav wars. Their primary role was enforcing UN-imposed embargoes to curb arms smuggling. The frigates patrolled the Adriatic Sea, using their advanced radar systems to monitor shipping lanes and boarding suspicious vessels with precision teams. In the 21st century, German vessels, including the Sachsen-class frigates, joined international forces in operations like Operation Atalanta off the Somali coast. With their state-of-the-art radar and missile systems, these frigates not only deterred pirate attacks, but also provided critical escort services for humanitarian aid ships. Their ability to conduct sustained operations in high-risk zones highlighted Germany's growing naval reach and commitment to global security. Today, Type 212 submarines and Baden-Württemberg-class frigates frequently participate in joint NATO exercises like Dynamic Mongoose and Baltic operations, BALTOPS. These missions emphasize anti-submarine warfare and rapid response capabilities. The Type 212 submarines, with their stealth and AIP systems, often outperform their counterparts in mock engagements, cementing German naval dominance. If you loved this video and would enjoy listening to more like it, then you're in the right harbor. Drop a like, subscribe, and check out other videos on this channel for more content like this. While you're at it, hit the post notification bell so you never miss out on our upcoming videos. See you in the next one.